right, the man that played Mr. Scrooge this year, Christopher Plummer, now plays the man that Mr. Burns from The Simpsons might have been based on, Mr. J. Paul Getty. In the World, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Michelle Williams, Christopher Plummer, Mark Wahlberg, and a bunch of other actors. This movie is based on the true story of the kidnapping of J. Paul Getty's grandson, J. Paul Getty III, in Italy in the 1970s. And what happens is J. Paul Getty III is in Italy. He gets kidnapped. When the kidnappers get him, they call his mother, played by Michelle Williams, Gail Harris, and they tell her that they are holding his son and that they want a very large sum of money, and if you don't pay this money, they'll kill the boy. And she says, well, where am I supposed to get this money? And the kidnappers say, well, go to your father-in-law. He has all the money in the world. Get it from him. So this movie is about her trying to get the money from her father-in-law, J. Paul Getty, who is an oil man and a very greedy oil man at that. He gets his negotiator, Mr. Fletcher, played by Mark Wahlberg, who used to work for the CIA, but he was never really an action guy for the CIA. He was a negotiator for the CIA. He did all the negotiations, a lot of talking, but he also knows about security and other stuff. And he does a very good job trying to deal with J. Paul Getty, trying to deal with the terrorists, and trying to help Gail Harris out in dealing with the stress of what to do with the fact that her son's been kidnapped. And this movie is really good, really suspenseful. Now, I heard about this movie through the whole controversy with this film, because originally J. Paul Getty was supposed to be played by Kevin Spacey under a lot of makeup, but when the scandal came out that Kevin Spacey is being accused of sexual harassment, and the whole scandal was affecting his career so badly to the point that he is fired from House of Cards, and he's been taken out of this movie completely, and they had to do reshoots with Christopher Plummer as the main character in order to fix the movie. And the reshoots are done so well to the point that you don't even notice the fact that Kevin Spacey was supposed to be in this movie. And there may be a couple scenes where you do see the residue of Kevin Spacey's, but it is pretty seamless. And I really think they should have just gotten Christopher Plummer right from the start, because he is a much better fit for this role because of the fact that he doesn't have to wear any makeup since he's so old, and he's right for the part because of his age. He looks the part and he feels the part. He really gets the character of J. Paul Getty very good. I really liked how he explains what it means to be a Getty, quote unquote, with how much status this money brings, and that he feels like an emperor. This movie does show that he has care for his grandson, even though he doesn't seem to show it that much, because when the kidnappers ask for the money, J. Paul Getty says that he's not going to pay it, and he wants to try to find other ways in order to save his grandson, and this creates some problems with the kidnappers. I really like Mark Wahlberg in this movie. He's really good in the film, playing the negotiator. Michelle Williams is excellent in the movie, playing the mom, and she does a really good job showing how distressed she is and how worried that she may lose her son. Timothy Hutton is in this film, and he's pretty good in the movie. And then you have Andrew Buchanan, who plays the boy's father in the movie, J. Paul Getty II. And he's pretty good in the film, even though he doesn't get that much screen time. What we find out about him is that he is a drug addict, and Gail and J. Paul Getty II, their relationship really didn't work out so well, so Gail decided to divorce the man and only gets child support really from him. She didn't really want anything like alimony or anything like that, just the bare minimum in order to take care of her children. And she didn't really want anything to do with the J. Paul Getty estate, because everything that J. Paul Getty had, it really didn't feel like it had any meaning to it. It felt very soulless, and it just really didn't feel like it was going to bring her any happiness or her son any happiness. And you could tell it really doesn't bring J. Paul Getty that much happiness, all this money that he has and what he's done with it, really. And I like the way that J. Paul Getty is portrayed. He's portrayed as a man who really does care about money, very much like Ebenezer Scrooge or like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, when he's talking about ways of how he can use his money maybe to get his son back. He's trying to figure out ways to use his money without it being tax deductible. So he's caring more about the money than he is about his grandson, really. Gee, what a heart he has, right? Not. Then there's one of the kidnappers in this movie who ends up becoming friends with J. Paul Getty III. I really did like that particular kidnapper in the movie, because he wasn't really that bad of a guy, even though he was one of the villains in the movie. Overall, this was a really good movie and very suspenseful. And even though you do feel the length of this film, that's one of the flaws of the movie, it is still a very good film. I really did like this movie. So I'm going to give this movie an A-. It is a really excellent film. I definitely think people should check this movie out. Check out All the Money in the World.